Hello, everyone. Welcome live to 3Y TV tonight's broadcast of the Sim Racers Club from Road America. It'll be 75 minutes here tonight for the Road America Grand Prix around the Fade. Road America road course, 4 miles in length, 14 turns, including the famous carousel and Canada corner. Going to be a lot of fun here tonight as these drivers twist and turn their way through Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. I'm Peter Short, and joining me in the booth here tonight is me, myself, and I. It is going to be the Peter Short Show here on 3Y TV here tonight. Carlos Acosta feeling a little bit under the weather and doing the production as well. But I got to say, I've been looking forward to this race all season long. This is going to be a wild one here as these drivers try to tame these very, very heavy stock cars around a very, very fast road course. We're going to see these drivers working their way through the kink, and you get a little bit of a look of the land right there. Checkered flag coming out here in the practice session. Johnny Avila, the number 63 machine, was the fastest, trying to pick up his second win of the season here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. Gonna be really interesting to see whether or not he can do so here tonight. Also, Greg Evans was up there in the practice session. Adam Jursky, however, was second fastest, 9/10 of a second slower than Johnny Avila. Will Worsler third, just a couple hundredths of a second behind Adam Jursky, and that's when you find Greg Evans in fourth. AJ Digby fifth, Tyler Seville sixth, and then a couple of other drivers, including Drew Carroll, Michael Krobach, and Scott Eckrich, rounding out your top 10. I think everyone is a bit surprised that Scott Eckrich was not closer to the top of the board. He was lightning quick in the 2 road courses that we've had so far this season at Circuit of the Americas, the Will Worsler Racing Grand Prix back in May, as well as, of course, the whole sheet metal 150 back at Sonoma, where Johnny Avila was able to walk home with his first win of the season. So he's definitely shown a lot of pace on the road courses this year in the number 63, fastest in practice. Can he back up that lap time here in the pole shootout here in the Joy of Driving 75? Big shout out to Joy of Driving for sponsoring tonight's race. And there you see the number 15 machine on your screen. That actually is the Joy of Driving race machine of Grant Brown. Great looking paint scheme coming out of the Greg Evans paint booth. Greg Evans painting that number 15 machine. You see these drivers working their way around the racetrack. There's the number 29 machine up there, Will Worsler, and out in your bottom left-hand corner of your screen, the number 23 machine of Steve Yenish. Let's see if we can go on board here with Will Worsler in the number 29 machine or the number 2 machine of Greg Evans. Let's see if we can jump on board with one of these drivers. We'll talk you through a lap of this very tricky racetrack. There is Grant Brown with Joy of Driving. Here we go. On board with Greg Evans going through the carousel right now. You have to try and carry a lot of speed onto this backstretch because you really, if you don't get a good drive out of the carousel, you're going to be slow down the backstretch, and you can actually carry that momentum through that little kink that Greg Evans just went through right there. And then it's just going to be hard onto the brakes. You're going to be looking out for the brake markers. Left-hand side of your screen right here, you get to about the 4 brake marker. You're going to apply the brakes, get that machine woed up for Canada corner right there. One of the trickiest corners, one of the slowest corners on the racetrack. Very easy to lock up your rear brakes, get a little bit of wheel hop into that right-hander before you go into that little left up-hander that we went up to. Very blind as you crest over that left-hander. And then a very slow, tricky right-hander here. Very flat. There's no banking to speak of. And that is a blind apex. You don't really get to see where the apex is around the corner. So that final corner is a lot trickier than most people think it is. Very easy to trick out people. Here we are up at full speed now. Greg Evans in the number 2 machine down off into turn number 1. That was the front stretch right there. Very important to get a run out of that final corner to get the power down that front stretch. Turn number 1 right there. Evans doing a great job of getting through turn number 1, trying to use as much of the racetrack as he can. Misses the rumble strips on the right-hand side. That's not a bad thing as he lets the number 2 machine kind of just wallow out of turn number 2. Not all too surprised there. And now on the rundown right here into another heavy braking point downhill as well. These race cars, they're big, they're heavy, they don't want to stop, but they really don't want to stop when they're going downhill. And you can see Greg Evans there missed the apex a little bit, washed out, had to go into the runoff area. Now this uphill left-hander, you just are able to get the apex sighted coming out of that corner. And then now through this little tricky technical bit. This is a racetrack where you got a lot of very different corners. This one right here, you can actually use a lot of the curb on the inside of the corner. Greg Evans did not elect to do that, and now into the carousel, and that is a lap here around Road America. The lap times here that we saw in practice, 2 minutes 11, they fall here as Steve Yenish has a great lap going in the number 23 machine. Greg Evans trying to get to the power down into the backstretch, into the kink right here, and letting that thing go all the way out. I don't think he went off the racetrack in the number 2 machine when we saw him get a little bit wide in turn number 5, I think it was. I think that was plenty fine. You see Evans. Oh, this is too wide, though. That is off. That is going to disqualify Greg Evans's lap time in the number 2 machine. And so he's going to have to get that thing fired back up and try and get back out there on the racetrack to get a lap time in here in his number 2 mobile. Bottom left-hand corner of your screen, that is the number 11 of Tyler Seville as Steve Yenish goes top of the board. 2:12.6 in his machine. A couple of other lap times are starting to trickle in. Tyler Seville goes second on the board. Mark Cohn in the number 51, the Pink Panther machine. Oh, he's way off in turn number 1. I'm guessing he thought that lap number 2 wasn't going to cut it. Here is Johnny Avila, fastest man in the practice session, right-hand side of your screen, coming to the line. What can he do in his number 63 machine? He's going to jump up to that. No, I don't think he was setting a time that lap time. So not sure if he went off racetrack or something like that. But right now, we have only had about 9 cars set a lap time. A lot of these drivers, they're going to have to pick it up on their second time lap. They don't have a lot of time. If they mess up their first lap, they don't really have a lot of time, at least at this point, to head back to pit road, get their car reset. So you're just going to have to fight through it if you're going to want to be able to set a lap time. There's the number 72, Michael Krobach, top right of your screen, bottom left of your screen. That is the number 70, Scott Eckridge, who we expected to be a little bit higher in the running order in the practice session. Eckridge has been on an absolute tear here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series over the last, well, going back to the start of the season, really. But that number 70 right now, just trying to get it woed up here before he heads into the right-handed carousel. 72, Michael Krobach, the Canadian driver. He's pretty good on these road courses. Expect him to be one to watch here tonight as, he tries to finish out his qualifying lap times. Will Worsler in the number 29 machine. Where is Will? Will is yet to put a lap time in the number 29 machine. He has a new sponsor on the number 29 here tonight, Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal. And Willoughby, great to have them on board with Bill Worsler here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. So we will see just how Bill Worsler can do here with tonight's new sponsor on his car, Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal. There's the number 88 machine, Thomas George, in your top right-hand corner of your screen. I think he took it very easy on lap number 1. Now he's on his second lap, and whoa! Will Worsler with the new sponsor on board, trying to show Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal that he's no slouch. He goes fastest on the board with a 2:12.463, 0.2 of a second faster than Steve Yenish. But as I say, that new top dog in town, Johnny Avila, your winner of the whole Sheet Metal 150 just about a month ago. Avila's going to jump up to the top of the board, the only driver in the 2-minute 11-second bracket with a 2:11.787. Very, very good for Johnny Avila. Wasn't quite able to back up his practice time of a 2-minute 11.1, but nonetheless, a 2-minute 11.787. Currently on the pole by about 0.7 of a second. There's the number 88 machine working his way around the racetrack. Thomas George yet to put a lap time in. Ran at 2:13.8 in the practice session a little while ago. That would put him the 11th fastest qualifier if he can back up that lap time here in this qualifying session. We see Greg Evans. He's out there on the racetrack right now trying to get a lap time in. Meanwhile, I think the biggest surprise is Scott Eckridge, the number 70 machine. He will not get a lap time in here in the qualifying for the Joy of Driving 75. Looks like he must have got a off-road, off-track penalty, and his lap time was disallowed. So Greg Evans here, he's trying to get his lap time in. We know that he went off track his first attempt. Here he goes. I think he's going to get this attempt in. I think he's going to get this attempt in unless he's gone off track again. So, oh, maybe. We'll see if it stays black down there at the bottom of the screen, but if it stays black, his lap time will not count. Okay, it goes yellow. So we will see whether or not this lap time counts for Greg Evans or not. So Greg Evans here in that number 2 machine, working his way now up into the final couple of corners. This left-hander over the crest. Gonna see that exit of that corner. Now get hard on the brakes, get it cranked into the final corner, and put the power down as he heads up the hill to the start-finish line. Where will Greg Evans place? 20 seconds left here in qualifying for the Joy of Driving 75. And Greg Evans with the lap time of a 2-minute 12.640 will slot in behind Will Worsler in the number 2 machine. So great recovery there by Greg Evans to get his number 2 fired back up and getting back out there on the racetrack. Now the checkered flag has been thrown, and you can see Scott Eckrich was doing all he could to get back around to the start-finish line to get a lap time in, but it will not happen for the number 70 machine. Johnny Avila trying to go back-to-back here in the Joy of Driving 75 on the road courses here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. As you see tonight, starting lineup, Avila, the Canadian driver of the number 63. The bright green machine will be starting on the pole. Debuted that paint scheme back at Sonoma and had a great run with it. Will Worsler with his new sponsor on the hood here tonight. So Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal will be starting to the outside of Avila. Greg Evans and Steve Yenish will be rolling off from row number 2. And as always, Greg Evans has a spectacular looking ride here tonight. Gotta say, always putting on a great show for the fans. Looking a little bit further back, Tyler Seville and Woody Mahan, 5th and 6th. Mark Cohn in the Pink Panther, number 51. He'll be rolling off in 7th. Adam Jersky in the Beef Jersey's Cheesecake Emporium, number 69, rolling off in 8th. Then Brian Yadzik and Michael Krobach, 9th and 10th. Couple of Loud Pedal Motorsports teammates on row number 5. Then back behind them, Drew Carroll, another one of those thumbs up, cancer down Ford Mustangs will start 11th. Grant Brown in 12th. Thomas George and Troy Haight, row number 7. And then Richard Fletcher will be rolling off in 15th. He was the last driver to be able to put down a qualifying lap time. Then you have a bunch of drivers who did not put down a qualifying lap time. AJ Digby will be rolling off 16th. John Eckhart, 17th. Kevin Stone in the number 17 machine. He will be rolling off 18th. Then back behind them, Scott Eckrich. We'll have our eyes on him here tonight as he climbs his way through the field. Alan Young, 20th. Mark Myers, 21st. Tim Knott and Michael Larch rounding out your 23-car grid here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series on 3Y TV. We want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here. Going to be a quick pace lap. The pace truck is already on pit road, and we're no slouches here at Road America, waiting for the green flag to fly. And there is the green flag. We're racing here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, as some drivers head off towards turn number 1. We have the Joy of Driving in the chat here tonight. Hello and welcome to the race here. 75 minutes here as Johnny Avila, Will Worsler as they head off into turn number 1. You see that Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal paint scheme on the number 29 of Will Worsler. He got the power down nice and neatly out of turn number 1. Big wiggle out the back of Johnny Avila. There's contact between the front 2. Worsler's off in the grass. There was definite contact between Avila and the number 29, and Worsler just barely keeping it out of the fence. He's going to have to work his way back out onto the racetrack, but all that track position, poof, gone in an instant. And just like that, Greg Evans and the number 2 Maverick Concepts machine has got his way to the race lead. Avila slides back to 3rd. I'm sure Worsler will be a little bit upset about it. Here's the contact between the 29 and the 63. Just a little bit of a hit check there with the rear quarter panel of the 63. And I really wonder whether or not Avila thought he was cleared of the number 29. But my, oh my. And we got a car off. Woody Mahan. Mahan is in the tires at turn number 5. There is Woody backing up there on the racetrack. And you can see missing a hood in that Ford Mustang. We'll have to see whether or not we can get a replay of exactly what happened to Woody down there in one of the hardest braking points of the racetrack. I mentioned it there a little while ago. Here we go. Oh, Scott Eckrich in the number 70, just boom, into the side, and that's it. Scott Eckrich in the number 70, heavy damage. We're going to have to see if we can get another look at that one. Here we go. Going to dial up that 3-wide TV replay. And was there any contact? No, doesn't look like it. Just looks like he lost the rear brakes and just plowed right into the side of Woody Mahan. Mahan's race over before he even makes it a lap. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, Johnny Avila has worked his way past Tyler Seville. Avila in the number 63, now up to the second position again. So things will hopefully calm down a bit here as the race kind of sorts itself out. Greg Evans, Johnny Avila, Tyler Seville, Steve Yenish, your top four after lap number 1. Adam Jersky's gone from 8th to 5th in his number 69 machine. Grant Brown, another big mover in the Joy of Driving Chevrolet. Of course, the Joy of Driving sponsoring today's race. He has worked his way up from 12th to the 8th position. We're missing a couple of contact. The 23 and the 51 have gone around. And there you see Steve Yenish trying to get his car pointed in the right direction. I was going to say we've lost another couple of drivers towards the back of the pack. Richard Fletcher, the number 43. Oh, Mark Myers, the 04 has gone around in turn number 1 as well. He's pointed in the wrong direction. You see Mark Cohn in the 51 machine trying to get back up to speed after the contact with the number 23. We'll bring up a 3-wide TV replay here in just a little bit to see how that all went down. Kevin Stone in the number 17. We're also hearing heavy damage on the number 17 Toyota Camry towards the back of the pack. And there might have been contact between Tim Knott and Kevin Stone in Canada Corner. We mentioned Canada Corner is a very tricky track. And here we go on the 3-wide TV replay going off into, this is turn number 3 right here. It doesn't really look like turn number 3, but it is turn number 3. And yeah, 51 gets in there, tags the number 23 machine. They both go around. They both go for a loop. And there's quite a few pretty heavily damaged cars out there here. And we're only on lap number 2. Tonight's race is going to be a little bit of an endurance race for these drivers, and it's already rearing its head. Here's this gaggle. Look at this group of cars live right now. That's Scott Eckrich racing with Thomas George as they go down into Canada Corner right here. Eckrich trying to go around Troy Haight, goes around the outside, gets past Troy Haight. Eckrich on the move here after that heavy contact with Woody Mahan in turn number 5. Here is a little bit of contact, or not contact, I think an off track here with Kevin Stone going off into the gravel. Indeed, that was, man, the 04 also going off right back behind him. That was just about a lap ago. That was just after Kevin Stone had the contact in Canada Corner. Now watch the 04 machine, because I mentioned that Mark Myers had gone around in turn number 1. I think this is the replay of that. Gets on the brakes and the back end steps out. Just maybe a little bit too much brake bias, and the 04 pointing in the wrong direction. He's able to corral it and get it pointed in the right direction. So we do have one driver on pit road. Tim Knott has taken the number 41 Gunskins Toyota Camry to his pit crew. And we're hearing that, the number 2 machine, Greg Evans, was your race leader off track. Just like that, the number 2 of Evans has gone from the race lead, and now he's going to have to slot in back behind a couple of these drivers. He slid all the way back to behind Brian Yazik, so slide him back to 5th. From 1st to 5th, that will give the race lead back to the pole sitter here tonight, Johnny Avila. Here is the 3-wide TV replay. Top right-hand corner of your screen, Greg Evans getting on the brakes. I mentioned it, that this corner right here, turn number 5, you're going downhill. These cars are so heavy, they don't want to stop. You miss your braking zone, and that's what happens right there. You have to use that runoff area. You see Tyler Seville's working on by. Adam Dursky was able to clear him, as was Brian Yazik. So Greg Evans going to go from 1st back to 5th here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. We still have 68 minutes here tonight. We're only 7 minutes into this race, folks. It has been one exciting start to the race. Let's go check out the 3-Wide TV chat here tonight. We got the Joy of Driving in there. Nikki Warsaw rooting on Will Warsaw Racing here tonight. It's Greg Evans in the 2, dips a wheel once again in Canada corner. That will open up the door for the 27 machine of Drew Carroll. Carroll able to squeak on by, so move Greg Evans from first last time at the stripe. He's going to slide all the way back to 6th. Drew Carroll, great start for him. He has gone from 11th on the grid now up inside the top 5. There you see him working his way up towards turn number 1. Matt Brown also in the chat here tonight, rooting on Will Warsaw Racing. Let's check out Will Warsaw in that number 29 Chevrolet. He's making a recovery. Don't see any damage on the number 29 Chevrolet. He's actually made his way back up inside the top 10. Got around Troy Haight in the number 88 machine. So Warsaw here in the Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal Chevrolet showing his resilience as we got side-by-side battle. Oh, contact between Greg Evans and Drew Carroll. They had contact in turn number 3, and Drew Carroll was able to save it, but a little bit of a hit check. We have seen contact there multiple times here tonight. Of course, right there on the start between Avila and Will Warsaw. We saw contact a couple laps ago between Mark Cohn and the number 23 of Steve Yanish. And there again, Drew Carroll and the number 2 of Greg Evans having a little bit of a coming together in turn number 3, but they get things all pointed in the right directions. Now that things kind of up at the front are starting to, as I say that, Johnny Avila, race leader off the racetrack, and that will give the race lead to Will Warsaw Racing number 11 of Tyler Seville, the Arch Telecom Toyota Camry, and just worked his way, surprisingly, up into the race lead. Now, for all of you people at home with your spectacles on, like me, that is a Toyota Camry. I think that's the first time we have seen Tyler Seville in a Toyota Camry for Will Warsaw Racing ever. In fact, that might be the only Will Warsaw Racing machine that we might ever see in a Toyota Camry. But there is the replay of Johnny Avila going off the racetrack right there in turn number 8, right before the carousel. And Avila now has a lot of work to do as he slides back to 2nd, right in front of Adam Jersky in the number 69 Beef Jersey's Cheesecakes machine. Another big gainer here in the early portion of the race from 8th up to 3rd. And Thomas George and Troy Haight have gone off in Canada corner. Again, Canada corner. Troy Haight is into the tires. And it looks like it might be night done for the number 28 machine. There might have been a little bit of contact between those drivers. Again, another 3-wide TV replay to dial up as Richard Fletcher, the number 43 machine, just came out of turn number 8. Might have gone off the racetrack, much like we saw former race leader Johnny Avila do just a lap or so ago. As your leaders have once again made their way up to turn number 3 right now. All right, let's see what happened here. Contact between Mark Cohn and the number 28 of Troy Haight. Troy Haight not able to do anything, right into the back of Thomas George. George, an innocent bystander in all of that. I think George was able to keep it out of the tires, but a trip to the kitty litter for the number 88 snap-on machine of Thomas George. Man, a lot of action happening here tonight. More action here tonight than, Mark Cohn and Richard Fletcher is connection issues on Richard Fletcher's number 43 machine. He's gone around, and he's getting pointed back in the right direction. Just action all over this racetrack. I think people are getting their money's worth here in the Joy of Driving 75 as Tyler Seville now out to about 1.8 second lead. Johnny Avila 2nd. Adam Jersky about 3.2 seconds behind your race lead. Just checking, fastest car on the racetrack last time by was Brian Yazik, running in the 4th position right now. He qualified 9th, now running in the 4th spot. Biggest mover of the race so far, kind of no surprise here, Scott Eckrich, although Scott had that really significant contact very early in the race with Woody Mahan. Mahan, on the flip side, has lost 11 spots. Eckrich has gained 11. Woody has lost 11, unfortunately. But Woody is nursing a very heavily damaged car. There is Scott Eckrich running right behind. I believe that's the number 14 of AJ Digby. Digby with a late lunge on the number 27 of Drew Carroll. And there was a little bit of contact there. And Scott Eckrich says, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to take the 2-for-1 right there as he goes up into the penultimate corner right here. So that will move Scott Eckrich now up to the 6th position after getting past AJ Digby, who quite rightfully has also gained 9 spots. So unfortunately, though, for Drew Carroll, he went from 6th to 8th in one corner right there. AJ Digby thought about picking up 1 spot, ended up not gaining anything. So yeah, that's kind of been the story of the night here. Just been kind of a crazy opening 12 minutes. I look up there at the top of the screen. I realize we're only 12 minutes into the race here tonight. This one is going to... Oh, AJ Digby's now off the racetrack. And the number 14 machine, he gets back out there onto the pavement as we now watch Steve Yenish and the number 15 of Grant Brown. This is 10th, 11th, and 12th. Krobach in the number 72. Thumbs up, cancer down Ford Mustang right there, kind of in the back of this group. No damage on that number 72, although Yenish got a great drive out of turn number 3. Can he get the braking into turn number 5? It's been tricky. We've seen a couple of drivers miss that braking zone here tonight. Looks like both of these drivers going to be able to hit that apex into turn number 5 here. And folks, if you're wondering how we just went from turn number 3 to turn number 5, there's a little kink on the back stretch. It's hardly a kink. It's hardly a corner at all. And that's turn number 4. This is turn number 6, however. And Steve Yenish in the number 23 looks like he's going to try and make the move. Great job there to whip around the outside. I think Grant Brown might have given him a little bit of slack there before they worked their way into turn number 7. This is turn number 8. Heavy on the brakes into the left-hander into the famous turn number 9 carousel right here. One of the longest corners that these drivers will face on a road course this year. In fact, shares some similarities to turn number 15, 16, and 16, 17, and 18 at the Circuit of the Americas that we went to earlier this season for the Will Worcester Racing Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix. As Tyler Seville, the number 11 machine, your race leader, just had a moment going up into the penultimate corner of the racetrack. Just got off the racetrack with 2 tires, kind of slid off into the grass a little bit. Someone was off there. That looked like maybe Michael Krobach or Brian Yazik. It was definitely one of the Loud Pedal Motorsports machines. Trying to see who that might have been. Hearing it was Michael Krobach in the number 72 machine. See if we can get a 3-wide TV replay of that. Can confirm that Krobach is back out onto the racetrack and just had an off-track excursion. Here we go, Canada corner right here, and the Canadian driver trying to find the Canadian beaches out there in Canada corner. That's not where you want to be. I don't think the Canadians are really known for their beaches. Maybe if it was something like Hawaii corner, that might be more interesting. But speaking of interesting, battle for the race lead as Johnny Avila has just squeaked his way past the number 11. So we saw Avila make that big error in turn number 8, probably about 3 or 4 laps ago now. And he has finally recovered there. Like I mentioned, Tyler Seville dropped a wheel in the penultimate corner of the track. And when he did so, he lost quite a bit of time. That is turn number 13 where he went off. And that allowed Avila to get to his back bumper. And now Avila has gotten around that number 11. Adam Jersky has fallen about another 1.5 seconds or so since we last looked behind the race leader that last time by. He's now 4.8 seconds behind the lead. Brian Yazik is about 1.4 seconds behind Jersky. And then it's about a 3-second gap back to Greg Evans, who is running in 5th and is being caught by the number 70 of Scott Eckrich. Eckrich finds himself now about, well, last time by he was about, by my math, 10.7 seconds behind the race leader, but something must have happened to the number 70 because he is now another 5 seconds back. So Eckrich must have gone off the racetrack here in the last half or so, and you can see he's lost quite a bit of track position. He's gotten passed by Mark Cohn, Steve Yenish, and a couple of others. And I think we're about to dial up the 3-wide TV replay. Looks like he'd actually gotten past the number 2 of Greg Evans, which, oh my goodness, that is way off course and into the wall as well. So something, folks, must have also happened to Greg Evans in the number 2 machine, because last time by he was in front of Scott Eckrich and then he was way behind Scott Eckrich. Something must have happened in turn number 1 or turn number 3 as, whoa, Grant Brown, the number 15 machine, big moment for him in Canada corner, gets his number 15 pointed back in the right direction live. We'll see if we can dial up a replay of what might have happened to Greg Evans in the number 2 machine as he's been caught by Drew Carroll, Will Worsler, AJ Digby. Worsler continuing his recovery after going off track in turn number 3. Grant Brown and the number 15 is off in turn number 14. That's the final corner. He's going to lose a spot to Michael Krobach. But drivers going off track all over the place here at Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And part of that might be the track temperature here. As you can see, the sun is beating down on the race surface in a 99-degree track surface. Here we go. I think we got a replay dialed up of what happened to the number 2 of Greg Evans. This is turn number 1, goes wide off into the grass and was able to keep it off the wall. That's the good news. But you saw he lost that spot to the number 70 of Scott Eckrich, which he gained back once Eckrich went off the track and he hit the wall. But losing time on the leaders is not a good thing. You don't want to ever do that, as we are closing in quite rapidly on the 20-minute mark here at the Road America road course. 4 miles in length, 14 turns around this twisty racetrack. Known for, you know, IndyCar and Champ Car races back in the day, but NASCAR has been coming here now for a number of years in the Xfinity Series, as we see Will Worsler trying to make a move on Drew Carroll, and Drew Carroll, a big wiggle out of Canada corner, and looks like the 29 Will Worsler able to get that pedal down just a little bit better, and he's able to squeak on by. To move Will Worsler now up into the 6th position in his number 29 machine, and whoa, never mind, big wiggle out of turn number 14. He's going to get that position right on back. Alan Young, the number 24 machine, getting word that he's off track, or went off track, as Will Worsler now under fire, from the number 70 of Scott Eckrich. And ooh, they get tight off into turn number 1. Worsler going to have to back off, and he's going to slide now back to the 8th spot. So just about, I don't know, 20 seconds ago, it felt like I was saying that Will Worsler is up to the 6th position. And how quickly things change here on these road courses. It kind of feels like we're at Daytona or Talladega with the way some of these positions are changing, and as rapidly as they're changing. Steve Yenish in the number 23 trying to close in on this battle for the 6th position. Drew Carroll has it. Scott Eckrich, Will Worsler, AJ Digby locked in that battle, and Yenish really definitely closing in on the braking zone in turn number 5 before the run up here to the left-hander. Watch how you can't see this apex until right there. You cannot see that apex into turn number 6. And Scott Eckrich just ahead has gotten around Drew Carroll. So move Scott up into the 6th position here, as AJ Digby has to check up for Will Worsler, who did not have a great run through turn number 7. And right behind AJ Digby is Steve Yenish. So Steve has 100% caught this group, as we now have a 5-car battle for the 6th position on the racetrack. Greg Evans has scooted away from Scott Eckrich by about 2.2 seconds. And then it's about 6 seconds up to Adam Jersky, another 3 seconds up to Brian Yazik, another 3 seconds up to Tyler Seville, and Johnny Avila is your race leader and lapping very, very quick lap times up at the front of the field. Now, if you're wondering about pit stops here tonight at Road America, well, we do believe to have only 1 pit stop expected for the majority of the field. We're closing in on the 1/3 race distance, so if we have any drivers who decide to maybe make a 2-stop strategy work, those drivers will be coming down pit lane very, very shortly, probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes, but we do expect to see most drivers stay out till around 38 minutes to go, which is another 16 minutes from right now. There is the number 29 of Will Worsler, big run coming up the hill on Drew Carroll, maybe able to use a little bit of that slipstream before jumping out there as they go off into turn number 1, heavy on the braking. Who can outbrake one another as they go off into turn number 1? Will Worsler looks like he's found the grip, and sure enough, Worsler once again making his move for 7th, but he's going to have to run down Scott Eckrich and the number 70, who's turning very, very respectable lap times. In fact, last time Scott Eckrich was about a full second faster than Johnny Avila. Avila ran a 2-minute 17.18. Tyler Seville behind him ran a 2:17.57. But how about Brian Yazik? The number 55 machine ran a 2:16.208, fastest car on the racetrack last lap. Adam Jersey ran a 2:18.092 in fourth. Greg Evans a 2:16.905. Scott Eckrich a 2:16.246, so just a couple hundred slower than Brian Yazik. But we currently have 3 drivers lapping in the 2:16 bracket, that being Yazik, Evans, and Eckrich. Then we have a couple of drivers, including Johnny Avila, Tyler Seville, Will Worsler, and Steve Yenish lapping in the 2:17 bracket, as well as Woody Mahan. Great lap times out of Woody Mahan in the number 84 for how badly damaged his race car is. He's down in the 14th position trying to run down Michael Krobach and Grant Brown. But as I say that, Michael Krobach just able to make the pass on the number 15 machine. So not sure exactly how that happened, whether or not that was kind of a natural pass or whether or not the 15 went off the racetrack. And we'll see maybe whether or not we can get a replay queued if Grant Brown might have gone off the racetrack or not in his joy of driving Chevy Camaro. We'll see if we can get that dialed up for you. But ooh, look at the number 23 and the 14. AJ Digby's off the racetrack. In the number 14, that's going to give that spot to Steve Yenish. That was a late move by Steve Yenish, and maybe AJ Digby said, you know what? I don't want any contact there. I'm just going to let him on by. Here is the battle. Now for the second position, as Brian Yazik has caught the number 11 of Tyler Seville. Seville must have had a moment there, and Brian Yazik, +7 positions from the drop of the green flag, now up into second, trying to run down your race leader. Last time by, Brian Yazik was a little bit faster by about a half second over Johnny Avila. So that gap right at 4.5 seconds. Granted, that's still a decent lead as we see if we got a 3-wide TV replay up here for you to see what happened. Grant Brown right there went off the racetrack. Now let's see if we can figure out what happened to the number 11. We saw that allowed the 72 of Krobach to get past the 15 of Brown. I love that number 15 paint scheme. The joy of driving Chevy Camaro looks really stout. I think it looks really, really good. And great to see that paint scheme debuted here at Road America. But I'm curious to know if the number 11 of Tyler Seville went off track and if that gave Yazik the opportunity to get that run out of turn number 14 up the hill to the start-finish line. But now, with Yazik in the second place, can he close in on your race leader, as we will quickly be closing in on the one and only green flag pit stops. We expect the leaders to only make one. A couple of drivers further back in the pack might try the two-stop strategy, excuse me. I just don't expect to see a whole lot of drivers try that here tonight. There's Avila working his way now onto the backstretch. Gonna come down towards Canada corner here very briefly and get hard on the brakes. There is the new second place driver, the 55 of Brian Yazik. Tyler Seville bleeding a ton of time right now in the Arch Telecom Toyota. Not sure if he got maybe some dirt on those tires or something, but definitely just hasn't seemed to have the grip this lap, as he's lost quite a bit of ground to Brian Yazik, considering Yazik just made that pass for second about a half lap ago. Yazik's digging here in the number 55. Got clipping that apex, and sure enough, he is clipping that apex in that Ford Mustang. So doing his sponsor justice on the hood of the 55 machine here tonight. We'll see what that gap from first to second is down to. It didn't close down all too much that last time by Yazik, just about a tenth faster than Johnny Avila. So you can see that down there at the bottom of your screen. Yazik has been anywhere from about 2/10 slower to almost a full second faster than Johnny Avila over the last 5 laps. That's what that the bright green Brian Yazik is good. I mean, Yazik caught him by almost a full second on lap number 9. And somehow, I say lap number 9, it feels like we're on lap number 40 here tonight with all the action that has happened out there on the racetrack. Nicky Worsler says, come on, Will Worsler Racing, come on. So we got a couple fans in the chat. If you're joining us here on 3Wide TV, we thank you for joining us here in the Sim Racers Club, the Joy of Driving 75. It is the new Premier Series here. The Sim Racers Club jumping over and taking over the Premier Series. And I gotta say, a great group of drivers and another caution-free race here tonight. We haven't had a lot of cautions over the last few races. Now, of course, this is a road course. I don't know if you necessarily count that one or not, but it will be a caution-free race, and all these drivers will get to enjoy another caution-free race. That is for sure. But I think we're finally calming down. I think the racetrack, these drivers are starting to kind of find their groove, find the pace. They have to manage their tires at this stage of the run. These tires get very slick, hot. The racetrack's 99 degrees Fahrenheit. At this point, you're more so managing your tires, just trying to be consistent, not make mistakes, not make any big mistakes for sure, just to get that lap time in. Because as you have seen here tonight, it's very difficult to be consistent, very easy to make mistakes. And if you can minimize those mistakes in a 75-minute race like this, it really gives you an opportunity to score good points in the point standings. And speaking of the point standings, we haven't really mentioned that here tonight. Greg Evans has a 54-point lead over Tyler Seville. Evans currently running in the 6th position right behind Scott Eckrich. Tyler Seville is running in 3rd, but 54 points is a pretty significant gap. Scott Eckrich is 26 points behind Tyler Seville in 2nd. Brian Yazik is 4th in points entering tonight's battle. Thomas George 5th. Will Warser 6th. Johnny Avila 7th, trying to pick up his 2nd win of the season here tonight. So far, so good. Still has a 4-second lead, although that lead is continuing to come down just a little bit. Adam Jersky, 8th place in points. Michael Krobach, 9th. And Corey Silva, 10th place in points, but Corey is not out there on the racetrack here tonight in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series here on 3Y TV. The joy of driving 75. So, question for the chat. What do you think of road courses? Are you a fan of the road courses? Are you not a fan of the road courses, and why? We'd love to hear what you have to think. Because you know what? These drivers, as much as they're out there on the racetrack having fun, you guys in the chat have your say as well. And we always love to bring that element to the broadcast here on the channel. You see Greg Evans right there. I think Evans might be closing in just a little bit on Scott Eckrich in front of him. We'll see if we can bring up kind of the battle picture between these two here in just a moment. But behind him is Will Worsler in the number 29 machine. And it seems like those two drivers may be a little bit too far for us to bring up that graphic, unfortunately. But at least for right now, Eckrich and Evans 13.9 and 15.5 seconds behind the race leader that last time by. We'll see if that gap closes in any this time by, as we have now, folks, just about made it to the half-hour mark here at Road America. It's been one heck of an interesting race into turn number 12, Canada corner. Producer in my ear saying we're getting close to the halfway. No, we're literally on the 30-minute mark. We're 30 minutes into a 75-minute race here. So we're starting to finally click laps away. The driver's starting to finally find their rhythm, as we do have this battle forming as Scott Eckrich has caught Adam Jersky. This is the battle for the 4th position. And if they aren't careful, Greg Evans is lurking back there in the picture as well. Last time by, just to give you guys at home a little bit of an indication, Greg Evans in the number 2 was the fastest car out there on the racetrack. A 2:16.097 is lightning quick. 1.5 seconds faster than your race leader, Johnny Avila. Brian Yazik in 2nd ran a 2:17.257, continuing to take away a little bit of Johnny Avila's race lead. But Evans is closing in on Scott Eckrich, and they're closing in big time on Adam Jersky. Evans was 3 seconds faster than the number 69 that last time by. And those drivers are also closing in on Tyler Seville, as Evans last time by was 2.3 seconds faster than Seville. So we could be looking at a battle here for the 3rd position here in just a little bit, but we got the battle for 4th right here, which is red hot. Jersky has it, Eckrich wants it, Evans wants it, and then not all too far back is the number 29 of Will Worsler as well. Worsler continuing his charge back up towards the front. He got sent off. Oh, 69 of Jersky runs wide in turn number 8. He comes back onto the racetrack before turn number 9, but that will give the 4th position to Scott Eckridge. And now Greg Evans all over the back bumper for the number 69 machine as well. Evans here coming out of the carousel, gets a good run out of the carousel. This is a tough passing spot. You don't really want to pass before the kink right here. Turn number 10. He's thinking about it. Gonna poke his nose to the right. Jersky throws a little bit of a block. Evans gonna go all the way to the grass. And he's gonna get late on the binders. Still trying to wiggle and waggle the number 2 machine down to Canada corner, and he pulls off the pass. What a bold move by Greg Evans in his burnt orange number 2 machine. A little bit of a throwback scheme for Greg Evans here tonight on 3 Wide TV. Maverick Concepts on the hood of that Chevy Camaro. And he now will try and get back to work and see if he can run down Scott Eckridge. He was doing so there that last 2 laps ago. This time, I think that gap between Eckridge and Evans is going to grow just a little bit because it was a lot easier, I think, for Scott Eckridge to get around the number 69 machine. We did have a driver come down pit road. It is the number 3 of Michael Larch back out there on the racetrack. He has come down to make his first pit stop here tonight just after the 30-minute mark. We think they're in their window here to make it to the rest of the race on only 1 stop. So looks like these drivers will only be making 1 stop. Here's a battle between the number 14 of AJ Digby, the number 27 of Drew Carroll. Drew Carroll, relatively new here to the Sim Racers Club Premier Series, but Drew has been lights out from working his way up into the Premier Series. Whoa! Michael Larch going wide. I thought it might have been the number 11 of Tyler Seville, but it was Michael Larch. 2 very similarly schemed race cars here tonight, the number 11 and the number 3. There is the number 3. You can see those similarities to the number 11 machine. Got farmhouse decor on that machine. Make sure to check him out. Actually, it's Farm 2 House decor on that car. Facebook.com/Farm2House decor or farm2housedecor.com. Will Wurzler, 29 machine, off the racetrack, turn number 8. Not the first time we've seen someone go off the racetrack in turn number 8. Something must have happened to Adam Jersky as well in the Beef Jerseys Cheesecake machine because he lost the spot to the number 29 of Will Wurzler, but Wurzler definitely got the bad end of that stick. He's now back behind Adam Jersky. He'd gotten around the 69 machine and lost a lot of track position and time with that big off in turn number 8. Greg Evans, however, is closing in on Scott Eckridge. Eckridge, meanwhile, is closing in on Tyler Seville. We mentioned that both Eckridge and Evans were faster than the number 11 machine a couple laps ago. And this is the battle for third. You have it right here on your screen. Seville, Eckridge, Evans. How many times have we seen these 3 drivers battle for the top spot here in the Premier Series this year? Well, the answer is between these 3 drivers, they have 15 wins of the 18 so far this year. Let's see what happened here. 2 driver, the number 29 machine, Will Wurzler, turn number 8, runs wide, keeps it out of the wall. But a little bit of rally crossing here at Road America is not the best thing to do as we're back live for the battle for third. Eckridge all over the back bumper of Tyler Seville. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Eckridge has a look down into turn number 5 here into the heavy braking point. It doesn't look like it. Looks like for now, Seville able to just get on the loud pedal enough to scoot away. But we do have, of course, pit stops impending here soon. Everyone on pit road will be getting ready for their drivers to come down. Turn number 5 there, still the number 11 and the number 70, 1-2. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Avila has stopped the bleeding. There is Johnny Avila. That gap between him and Brian Yazik has stabilized at 4 seconds. You see they have quite a big gap back to Tyler Seville. About 10 seconds from Yazik to Seville. There's the number 63. There is the number 11. This is that battle for third that we've been highlighting. Here comes Richard Fletcher onto pit road right now. So he will, I think, be the second driver to come down onto pit road. Alan Young in the number 24 has taken his car to the garage. Thomas George in the number 88 has also taken his car to the garage. Mark Myers in the 04 as well. Troy Haight. We saw him have a big off in Canada corner, and Tim Knott, I think, parked it on lap number 1 in the Gunskins.com Toyota. Oh, contact! And Tyler Seville, what a save out of the number 11 in Canada corner. Here comes Greg Evans. He's going to take advantage of that, but this is a very tight turn number 13 right here. Evans and Eckrich side by side, though, doing an excellent job of keeping it side by side through one of the trickier portions of the racetrack, and Evans will be able to take the spot. Evans throws a block. Oh no, Evans not throwing a block. He's coming to pit road this time. Here, just on the halfway mark, we have 38 minutes in the books, about 38 minutes left to go. Will Worser, the number 29, also coming down pit road in his machine. Got a new sponsor on the hood of that number 29 this week. We've been highlighting that, Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal. So that Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal crew will go to work, and AJ Digby in the number 14, the High Flow Industrial Environmental Services Chevrolet, was running in the 10th position when he took that turn down to pit road. So these drivers will get 4 fresh tires, and oh, Brian Yazik off the racetrack in the number 55 machine. Really slow through turn number 5. We'll see if he can gather it back up. Here is Tyler Seville and the number 70. Eckrich still unable to find a way by the number 11 after that contact last lap in turn number 12, Canada corner. But Eckrich just got to be patient here. He just has to realize that he's a little bit faster than the number 11 and has plenty of time to make the pass. You don't want to force the pass here at Road America. If you have better tires than the car in front of you, it's better to get a good run out of turn number 14 up the hill, across the start-finish line, and make the move off into turn number 1. But Eckrich is diving to the inside here through the carousel. He poked his nose in there, and he said, you know what, Peter, I don't care for your advice. I'm just going to force my way through here. And, whoa, big slide out of the number 70 as he gets the power down. But Eckrich here, that's going to put him in the 4th spot for now, letting it all hang out there through the kink on the run down to Canada corner here. So Eckrich now with a little bit of clean air on the nose and track position. What can he do? Can he run down Brian Yazik? Yazik had definitely lost quite a bit of time when he had that slow turn number 5. That race lead has gone up to 6.8 seconds. Johnny Avila, race leader on pit road right now. However, right behind Kevin Stone there in the number 17. Hopefully that doesn't affect Johnny Avila's run to his pit crew. We know that Avila has the last pit stop. Scott Eckrich coming to pit road, and he got around Tyler Seville and had pulled away. We saw that move that he made on Seville there in the carousel line. He stretched it out quite a bit there to the driver of the number 11 machine. You also see Adam Jersky on pit road with Steve Yenish in the number 23 Tampa SUV Rentals.com Toyota. Gotta say, I really like that Tampa SUV Rentals.com scheme on that number 23. I've liked it all the way from the beginning of the season. There is Greg Evan trying to get past Mark Cohn in the 51. Mark Evan to get on pit road. Kind of awkward timing there as you see a couple of other cars. That's Woody Mahan coming down pit road in his number 84 machine. I couldn't quite tell who that was behind him. Michael Krobach's on pit road. Grant Brown in the 15 was the car behind Woody Mahan. And I'm sure Woody Mahan's going to get into his pit box and he's going to see all of the damage that he has. And he's probably going to be really surprised that he's been able to lay down some pretty good lap times, all things considered. Drew Carroll and, oh, Michael Krobach missed his pit box. That is, what has happened to Michael Krobach in the number 72? He's unable to find his pit box here. And Michael, you're one box too, no, he's not one box too far. He finally found his pit box. That's going to be very, very costly for Michael Krobach. I mean, he spent so long on pit road. Grant Brown in 13th has passed him already. He came in 10th. He's going to lose at least 3 spots in that ordeal on pit road. That is not good for driver of the number 72, the Canadian driver. Meanwhile, Greg Evans has gotten around Scott Eckrich, was on fresher tires for a lap. Will Worcester was able to run down the number 70. And Worcester has a lap and a half on his tires to Scott Eckrich, who now has a half lap on his. So Worcester trying to use all he can of the fresher tires. Oh, Kevin Stone, the number 17 machine. Big wiggle. He's around. Coming on the rundown to Canada corner, and there's a lot of heavy damage on the number 17. He has to keep that car stationary. Here comes Greg Evans on through. Scott Eckrich, Will Worsler. They will see the local yellow flag for the number 17 of Kevin Stone. Oh, Tyler Seville, the number 11 machine's in the wall, coming out of turn number 10. You see a lot of right side damage to the Arch Telecom Toyota Camry as he goes on by. We're going to have to dial up this 3-wide TV replay. But second place in points here. Has 3 wins to his name so far this season as well. Heavy right side damage to the Arch Telecom Toyota Camry. Let's see what happened here to Kevin Stone first. Just a big wiggle out of the carousel, and he tried his darndest to save it, unable to finally catch it. And I fear that something very similar happened to the number 11 machine of Tyler Seville. Don't think we will see it from this camera angle. But that number 11, you see him off the pace there, just working his way on through. So we'll get that replay queued up for you guys here. And it was coming through the kink, actually, not out of the carousel. I believe that kink is turn number 10. So indeed it is, and yeah, just lost it, couldn't quite hold on to the race car, was on fresher tires. There's Kevin Stone kind of stranded there, and Adam Jersey says, you know what, thank you very much for that, I'm just going to go on by and pick up a position. That's bad news for Tyler Seville. We'll have to see whether or not he has to come down pit road for any damage repair or not, because he slapped the wall pretty hard, and he's going to come under fire here as we're back live. Working his way up towards turn number 6. That is Steve Yenish in his rear view mirror. He does still have Adam Dursky in front of him, but has Steve Yenish right back behind him. And if you're wondering about tire strategy amongst these drivers, all 3 of them, Jersky, Seville, and Yenish, all pitted on the same lap. Final driver to come down and make his one and only stop here tonight, we do believe, is Brian Yazik. He just pitted. He's 10 seconds behind Johnny Avila right now in the number 55 machine. You can see there on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen that the number 63 of Avila is going into the final corner right now. Meanwhile, whoa! Something's happened. Something's happened to the number 55 machine. Brian Yazik is off. Brian Yazik in the number 55 machine in Canada corner. What has happened to Yazik? He's just getting back going. Left side damage on the clipping that Apex Ford Mustang. He has gone from second back to 5th. Canada corner striking again. And fresh tires here playing havoc on a lot of these drivers. Surprisingly slow. Here is the rundown to Canada corner for the 55 of Yazik. Gets on the brakes. The back end steps out. Goes off into the kitty litter and boom! To the tire bale out there, and that is very costly. So move Greg Evans up to second. Scott Eckrich now up onto the podium in third. Will Worsler in the 4th spot, about 3 seconds back. Fastest lap of the race here, a 2-minute 12.342, just laid down by the driver of the number 70. You have him on your screen right there, closing in on Evans. Remember, Evans pitted 1 lap prior to Scott Eckrich, so Eckrich has been able to pretty much erase the deficit between himself and Evans in front of him, as he is laying down some very quick lap times here at Road America. Let's check out the chat here tonight. Fernando Matos has shown up in the chat. Soap Drizzle rooting on Woody Mahan. Well, unfortunately, Woody has quite a bit of damage on the number 84 here tonight. Fernando, how's it going, buddy? Hope all is well with you. Hopefully you're still here in the channel as we are into the final 30 minutes here of the Joy of Driving 75-minute endurance race here at Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And at least for right now, it is Avila, Evans, Eckrich, and Worsler, your top 4, with Yazik now back to 5th. Yazik had lost about 12 seconds, folks, in that ordeal in turn number 12. So 1 second for every corner that Canada corner is. My, oh my, I'm sure Yazik will be absolutely kicking himself. He's returning to the scene of the crime now. This time he's able to clip that apex like his sponsor on the hood says. As we watch this battle right now, back behind him, this is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Adam Dursky in 6th. The kind of minty green Arch Telecom Toyota Camry of Townersville in 7th. And Steve Yenish in the number 23 is currently riding in 8th. They are about 9 seconds up the road from AJ Digby in the number 14 machine. Drew Carroll is running now in 10th, about 10 seconds behind Digby. So this is, was the best battle for position on the racetrack, because Greg Evans, Scott Eckrich, well, this is now the best battle for the racetrack as Steve Yenish able to get on by the number 11 machine. But this is the other battle. Eckrich was poking to the inside of Greg Evans there off into turn number 1. Evans said, no, thank you. But Eckrich has erased that deficit after he came off pit road 1 lap later than the number 2 machine. They go off into turn number 5, and almost contact between our 2nd and 3rd place machines. Johnny Avila, meanwhile, up at the front of the field, he's just kind of out for a Sunday drive. Not making any mistakes, keeping the 63 on the road. That's what he's got to do. Keep it consistent, keep it pointing in the right direction, and the race will be yours, Johnny. Here comes Eckrich, looking to the inside into turn number 8. He's got him. Eckrich going to be able to clear Greg Evans on the run up to the carousel. Eckrich, who did not get a qualifying lap time here tonight, and on lap number 1, pile drove right into the side of Woody Mahan. Mahan still out there fighting in the 11th position, so all things considered, Woody with a heavily damaged race machine, I'm sure he won't be all too upset with that, considering his first lap ended with Scott Eckrich absolutely submarining him, torpedoing him in turn number 5. Both of those drivers able to continue, and Eckrich now up to 2nd from 19th on the grid here tonight, and only 11.6 seconds behind your race leader. And for all of you people back at home thinking about math, well, we have about 13 laps to go here at Road America. In fact, that is... my math is saying 12 minutes to go, or 12 laps to go. We got 12 laps to go. The race lead, as it stands right now, is 11 seconds. So Scott Eckrich is going to have to be about a second a lap faster than Johnny Avila if he's going to want to run him down. Last time by, 0.8 of a second. Would 0.8 of a second get him there? Not quite. He'd come up just a little bit short. So we will continue to monitor that that gap between Johnny Avila and Scott Eckrich, and see whether or not Eckrich can kind of get to that 0.9 of a second range that he needs to get to get that 11-second deficit erased. But you can see that. I mean, Eckrich has been closing in, 3 seconds, 2.4 seconds, a full second, 0.8 seconds. Maybe those tires are starting to equilibrate between Avila and Eckrich. That's why you've seen that kind of trend drop down from 3 seconds, only 2.4 to 1 to 0.8. But we'll monitor that gap. Maybe Johnny Avila can dig into, his reserves and find a little bit of pace. But Scott Eckrich here is really tearing up the racetrack. Let's see if we can ride on board with Scott Eckrich here and see if we can have a Crank It Up brought to you by Shano Effects. Well, folks, you just rode on board with Scott Eckrich, who is the fastest man out there on the racetrack. Remember how I said he needed to get about a second per lap or so? Last time by, he almost got 3 seconds out of the race lead. It's down to just 8 seconds between Johnny Avila and Scott Eckrich. In fact, Scott Eckrich can now see Johnny Avila. It's that close between the number 63 and the number 70. I didn't think that Scott Eckrich would be able to find that pace to close in on Avila, but he's doing it here, folks. 22 minutes left, 22 and change, and Scott Eckrich is on a tear, trying to pick up another road course win. Remember, Scott Eckrich got the win back at the Circuit of the Americas in the Will Worcer Racing Grand Prix back on May 12th, but he wasn't here for Sonoma earlier this season. That number 70 was not on the racetrack there, and Avila was the one who was able to take home the win. But Eckrich showing that he has some road course muscle here tonight. Of course, we do have the Gunskins.com Roval 125 in the playoffs in the round of 12. That's going to be a very fun round of 12, as we really got to start talking about playoffs here on 3 Wide TV. They start August 19th, and with the way 2021 is going, August 19th will be here before you know it. So of course, next week we do have an off week here on 3 Wide TV in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. So don't tune in next Wednesday night. We won't be here. But then, of course, we got a double header the week after that at Chicagoland Speedway, twin 125 races, and that is going to be one heck of a night that you don't want to miss. Back-to-back dual races. But as you can see down at the bottom of your screen, another 1.3 seconds for Scott Eckrich. And now, folks, he has he's 7 seconds back behind Johnny Avila. We got 9 laps to go. Now he's kind of in that range where he only has to pick up about 0.7 of a second per lap. So he still has to, start picking up the pace, but he's doing it here so far in this run. And you can see him right there. Just looking to see if there are any other battles out there on the racetrack. Adam Jerski, Steve Yenish. The 69 and the 23 is a battle for the 5th position right now. There they are, working their way now into turn number 7, towards turn number 8 now. Steve Yenish all over the back bumper of Adam Jerski. Jerski qualified 8th. Yenish qualified 4th here tonight. So Yenish has not had the greatest of races in the number 23. Has had a couple of hiccups, but you can see the number 23 is rather clean. And these two drivers both pitted about 7 laps ago. It'll be 7 laps this time by. Big slide out of Adam Jerski in the Beef Jerski's Cheesecake Emporium machine. I thought that might give an opportunity for the 23 to show his nose to the inside. Thinks better of it. Now we run down to Canada Corner once again into the braking zone. Just wait for those markers on the right-hand side of your screen. Once they get to about the first Road America sign, they count down on the driver's side, not on our side, as John Eckhart in front of him in the number 45 machine throws up some dirt in Canada Corner for these drivers to work their way through. And here comes Yenish. He's looking to the inside. Nope, thinks better of it. Now going to try and get the launch up the hill from turn number 14, and he does. Look at the launch he gets out of turn 14 up the hill side by side. These drivers now have a 4-second advantage over Tyler Seville out back. Your race lead now down to just 5.6 seconds. Yenish to the inside. Can he get on the brakes into turn number 1? Yes, he can. Rolls around the apex. Moves Steve Yenish up into the top 5. Now just 1 spot down from where he started here at the top of the night. Will Worsler in the number 29 machine as John Eckhart is off the racetrack there right inside of your screen. You saw him there briefly. Where's the number 29 of Will Worsler? Well, he's up the road from Jerski and Yenish, about 8 seconds up the road and about 6 seconds behind Greg Evans. So Will Worsler kind of has a nice buffer from the cars around him. He qualified, of course, on the outside pole to start the Joy of Driving 75-minute event. And right now, riding in the 4th spot with the new sponsor on the hood here tonight, Willoughby's Roofing and Sheet Metal. So great to see them on that Chevy Camaro. Maverick Concepts number 2, Greg Evan, and Zoil by Adam Blattel on the number 70, trying to run down the unsponsored number 63 of Johnny Avila. Folks, if you want to sponsor a driver, why don't you check out sponsoring Johnny Avila? Trying to pick up his second win of the season here tonight as Steve Yenish goes rally crossing out of turn number 8. Not the first time we've seen that here tonight. So let's see if we can do a little bit of a through the field here. We'll start with Johnny Avila, and we'll kind of highlight some of the drivers we just highlighted. But Avila started the race on the pole here tonight, kept his number 63 machine very clean, and that might be all he needs to do, but he is going to have to stave off a very hard-charging number 70 of Scott Eckridge, who's in second back behind him. Now down to about 4.5 seconds. That is the real-time delta between Avila and this driver that we see right here on your screen. Had that big incident in turn number 5 on lap number 1, speared into the side of Woody Mahan's number 84 machine, but ever since got back on the racetrack, found his rhythm, found his groove, and he is closing down on Johnny Avila, showing the pace that he did back at Circuit of the Americas a couple of months ago. Third place, Greg Evans right there on your screen. Started third, is running third there in that little bit of a throwback number 2 machine. Maverick Concepts had a couple of hiccups here tonight. Can't argue that, but at least Greg Evans has been able to minimize some mistakes really since the last pit stop. Came down pit road, got fresh tires, been back out there on the racetrack. I don't think he's really put a step wrong, so I think he's found his own groove just to kind of keep that number 2 machine where he is. Back behind him, Will Worcester started on the outside pole here tonight. Had that contact with Johnny Avila in turn number 3. Will Worcester probably wondering what tonight could have been if that contact was not made. He is 15.9 seconds, or was 15.9 seconds behind the race leader at the stripe that last lap, kind of all by his lonesome in the number 29 machine. Back about 9 seconds or so behind him is the number 23 of Steve Yenish. We just saw him go off track a lap or 2 ago. Just recently got past Adam Jersky for the 5th position of the Tampa SUVRentals.com Toyota. Barely a scratch on it here tonight, and that is good news. That's how you want to walk away from these road course events. And not a lot of drivers can say they have a undented vehicle here tonight. Back behind him is the number 6. Oh no! Greg Evans, the number 2 machine. Oh my goodness, I've been saying that he'd found his rhythm and he wasn't making any mistakes, just made a mega mistake going through the kink and lots of left side damage. And is that number 2 machine crabbing? It might be crabbing. And let's see. Yeah, the number 2. Oh, Will Worcster's off the racetrack. Oh my goodness, that is a heavy contact. Left side damage, right side damage. And can Greg Evans continue to drive that car, or is it too badly damaged? Will Worcester having issues in Canada Corner here. Looks like Greg Evans is going to stay out on the racetrack. He's going past the commentary box right now. But there's Worcester having his moment in Canada Corner as well. And a big moment for him. Big, long slide. And that's going to allow Steve Yenish to get up to his back bumper, almost. So there will be now a battle for the 4th position brewing. Here's that battle between Worcester and Yenish. Yenish in the number 23. Just a quick look on the tire situation. Yenish actually has 1 lap fresher tires than Will Worcester. Granted, at this point, all of their tires are old and slippery and greasy. And it doesn't matter keeping it on the road, but at least for now, we do have a battle for 4th, and Adam Jersky not all too far behind this, as well as Yenish has a big slide coming out of turn number 3, able to catch it as they go through turn number 4 right here. This long, flat out bend down this straightaway. Now heavy into the braking point of turn number 5. You see Yenish all around. Man, this is not the first time I've seen Steve Yenish close up on a driver in turn number 5. Not sure what it is, but Steve Yenish has found something out about turn number 5 that not a lot of other drivers have figured out here tonight. We saw that earlier in the race when he was closing in on a gaggle of 4 or 5 cars battling for 7th or 8th. Probably now 45 minutes ago, it feels like. But Yenish definitely has shown some muscle here tonight. Like we said, qualified in 4th, trying to get that 4th position on back from tonight's outside pole sitter, Will Worcester. Up at the front of the field, times have somewhat stabilized between Johnny Avila and Scott Eckrich. Currently sitting at about 4 seconds between Avila and Eckrich. So Eckrich, last time by, was a little bit faster than Johnny Avila. We'll see what it's like at the line this time, but maybe Johnny Avila's kind of dug deep, found a little bit more in the gas tank in the number 63 machine to kind of keep Scott Eckrich at bay, but definitely keeping things interesting for us here on 3Y TV as Warsaw, another big slide out of Canada corner. Canada not doing Will Worcester all too many favors here over the last 2 laps as he has a big slide through turn number 13. Here comes Steve Yenish looking to the inside of turn number 14. We saw Yenish get a great run out of turn 14 to get past Adam Jersky probably about 3 or 4 laps ago. Doesn't look like Yenish got quite as good of a run this time on Will Worcester. So it looks like for now, Worcester is going to hold on to the 4th position. Just looking up and down the scoring pylon, looks like Tyler Seville might have closed in a little bit on Adam Jersky last lap as well. Not sure if Jersky had an off, but kind of an oddly slow lap time for Jersky, a 2-minute 18.8 to everyone else around him running 2-minute 17s or so. Greg Evans ran a 2-minute 19 last lap, so something must have happened to the number 2 machine again. Well, either something's happened to him or all that damage he just accrued through turn number 10, the kink on the backstretch. Maybe that damage has kind of slowed up his pace. That's something that we might have to keep an eye on here in the final 11 minutes as Will Horsler. Another big wiggle out of the back of that Chevy Camaro. Those rear tires must not be a happy camper at all as Yenish now slides a little bit, heating up those rear tires. Last time by, Scott Eckrich about 0.2 of a second faster than Johnny Avila. That's not going to cut it as we are closing in on just 5 more laps to go here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It is, of course, a timed race, but once the timer expires, they will complete that lap that they are on. So if you start the lap with 3 seconds left, then you have to go basically an entire lap to get to the checkered flag. Meanwhile, Will Worcester just caught up to his teammate Richard Fletcher in a bad spot, going through the kink up and towards Canada corner, and that has allowed Steve Yenish to get right back to the bumper of Worcester in that battle for the 4th position. We'll see if Yenish can get a good launch out of turn number 14 this time, although finally Will Worcester was able to figure out Canada corner this time, pulls away just a little bit from Steve Yenish as we continue to watch our race leader here work his way around the corner. But looks like Worcester gonna hold off Yenish for yet another lap here. Adam Jersky, Ryan Yazik, battle for the 6th position is brewing as well. So we've been watching the battle for 4th. We'll see if we can highlight that battle for the 6th spot between Jersky and Yazik. Remember, Ryan Yazik was extremely fast at the end of the first run, and then he had a huge off in Canada corner and lost about 12 seconds. And if you were to put Brian Yazik 12 seconds up the road, he would currently be 3rd position. But unfortunately, that off that he had in Canada corner when he lost all that time has set him back severely. Now trying to get around the number 69 of Jersky. He has passed the number 11 of Tyler Seville, but of course Tyler has quite a bit of damage on his number 11 machine. As you see Brian Yaza getting on the brakes late here, and maybe a little bit too late, runs wide off into turn number 5. He's going to have to gather it back up and go back after the number 69 in front of him. So a couple of good battles here for position. The battle for the race lead has actually swung the other way as Johnny Avila has been able to stretch out a little bit on Scott Eckrich. That got up to about 4.5 seconds. It was down to just about 4. So definitely Avila digging deep and finding a little bit of pace. Maybe he was, you can see there how it really started to plateau between those two drivers. And we'll see whether or not Avila can continue to pull away here over the final 4 or so laps that we will have at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Adam Jersky just ran wide into the kink and out of the kink, and Yaza got a run, but Jersky threw the block on him, and gotta say, that was some heads-up defensive driving out of Adam Jersky, but he locks it up going into Canada corner, locks up the right front, gonna give Yazik an opportunity here to go around the outside up into turn number 13, and looks like Jersky's gonna lay over and let Yazik have that spot. That is some very gentlemanly driving out of Adam Jersky as the 45 machine of John Eckhart is off the racetrack. Eckhart working his way back up to speed in his Toyota Camry. Steve Yenish versus Will Worsler. Well, Worsler just stretching out a little bit of a lead again in front of Steve Yenish as Eckhart here continuing to have problems in that Toyota Camry. He's being scored 14th, a 1 lap down. I think he might have just lost the rear end of the 45 car and just kind of had a big slide there. As we got the 3-wide TV multicam in force here tonight. We're watching Will Worser, top right-hand corner of your screen as he's defending. Whoa, 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 whoa. Tyler Seville, big slide out of the number 11 Arch Telecom Toyota Camry. Not on your picture there, but was able to corral it, keep it going in the right direction. Yazik has pulled away from Adam Jersky. Big question, I think, will be whether or not Yazik can run down the cars in front of him. He has been running a little bit faster than Will Worser and Yenish on average over the last 5 laps or so, but not a significant amount. Maybe just a couple of tenths, so I think it might take a little bit of Steve Yenish and Will Worster getting into some argy-bargy banging doors for Yazik to close in on him. But at least for now, Yazik will be riding in the 6th position, as we now have just about 3 laps for Johnny Avila left as he works his way into the penultimate corner here and now into turn number 14. Just looking up and down the scoring pile and again just to see if there are any other battles for position. Not really. It's really just Will Works or Steve Yenish and maybe Brian Yazik if he can run them down. Of course, barring another significant mistake by one of these drivers. Evans is being caught by Will Worsler. It's right now about 4 seconds or so between the 2 and the 29. Evans, with that heavy damage, is lapping about a second slower than Will Worsler. However, I just don't think there's enough time for Worsler to catch Greg Evans for that 3rd position. Last time by, fastest driver on the racetrack was, oh my goodness, something has happened here, folks. Something has happened to the number 70 of Scott Eckridge. Scott Eckridge, we're going to have to dial up a 3-wide TV replay because last time by, Scott Eckridge was about 15 seconds slower than he has been lapping. So something happened to Eckridge, and I don't know what it was. Not sure if he had an off. Ooh, hearing an off in turn number 1. For driver of the number 70 machine last time by, and we'll have to see what happened here to the number 70 machine. Okay, top right hand corner of your screen. This is a 3-wide TV replay. Off into turn number 1, just too hard on the brakes, goes off into the kitty litter. That's hits the tire barrier there, hits the wall, and gets pointed in the wrong direction. Gets it pointed back in the right direction, but losing a significant amount of time. And then here we go. We're going to speed it up. Hearing there might have been something else happen to Scott Eckridge here, playing it off into turn number 5. Turn number 5's been kind of a culprit corner here tonight. Hits the apex really well. Gets on the pedal. Here we go up to turn number 6. We go off in turn number 6. I don't know. No, I'll get through turn number 6. Into turn number 7. Good in turn number 7. Turn number 8. We've seen drivers struggle here tonight as well. Does he run wide? Oh, yes, he does. Runs wide in turn number 8. So 2 offs in a single lap for Scott Eckridge. And he now finds himself miles behind Johnny Avila. 15 seconds between the 63 and Scott Eckridge. Johnny just has to keep it on the road to pick up his 2nd win of the season here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. The joy of driving in the number 51 machine saying, missed the mark at the kink and killed the suspension. Tried holding on, but car was dead. Mark Cohn has pulled the number 51 machine to the garage. Mark, what a shame here in the Joy of Driving 75 as we only have 3 minutes left. That is just about 2 laps for these drivers. We watch this battle now. Top right-hand corner of your screen, this is the battle for fourth between Will Worcester and Steve Yanish. You see those drivers, they are closing in on Greg Evans in front of them. Again, I don't think there's enough time for them to catch Greg Evans, but Steve Yanish has been very quick, and we have seen even Scott Eckrich is infallible here tonight, or is fallible. Definitely fallible here tonight. In the number 70, making some late race mistakes. Anything can happen here, folks. Even Johnny Avila in the 63, if he makes a big mistake, his race could be done. That's one of the things I love about road course racing. It is, you always have to be on the limit. You always have to pay attention. Every corner, it's all about hitting your marks and watching your throttle control out of the corners. How many times have we seen here tonight these drivers get a little bit squirrely coming out of the corner? All it takes is not having throttle control, not being patient for you to have a little bit of a slip up. Will Worcester had a little bit of a slip up there, but was able to get it going, find that rear traction out of the rear Goodyear tires, and get the number 29 now pulling away from Steve Yanish as we head down the backstretch. Expect to see the white flag in the air this time for Johnny Avila. It'll be the final lap here in the Joy of Driving 75 at Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Just trying to see 30. Looks like these drivers will have completed 33 laps at the end of the night. That would be 132 miles on the road course. White flag is in the air for Johnny Avila. Final lap here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Steve Yanish in the number 23 still trying to find a little bit of pace to run down Will Worcester. Greg Evans in front of those two, still holding on to about a 2 or so second gap to Worcester and Yanish. So I think, like I said, I think they're just going to run out of time. If Worcester and Yanish had a couple of more laps, I think they would have both run down and passed Greg Evans in the number 2 with all the damage he's got. But I don't think it's going to be for those two here tonight. Brian Yozik solidly in the 6th position. Adam Jersky solidly in 7th. Tyler Seville solidly in 8th. AJ Digby 9th. Drew Carroll in 10th. And then, of course, you got Woody Mahan, Grant Brown, and Michael Krobach, 11th, 12th, and 13th. As we're watching this battle right here, Worcester is closing in on Greg Evans. I think he might be able to get to his back bumper. I just don't think he will have the time to pass him. Of course, I could be wrong. You know, commentators haven't been always right. As Johnny Avila is into the carousel for the final time. Out of turn number 9, heads up towards turn number 10, the kink. You will continue to watch that battle now brewing for 4th as Worcester closes in on Evans. Excuse me, battle for 3rd as Worcester closes in on Evans. Johnny Avila coming towards Canada corner for the final time. Hits on the brakes. Doesn't lock him up. That 63 looks all square. Makes its way through turn number 12. Just 2 more corners left for Johnny Avila to go back to victory lane on the road course here. It has been a great season for Johnny Avila here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. Working his way through turn number 14. Checkered flag in sight. Gives a big wiggle for the fans. Up the hill. Checkered flag waves. And Johnny Avila goes to victory lane in the Joy of Driving 75 as he goes across the start-finish line. Meanwhile, battle for 3rd. Evans still holding on to that position. So we look at the number 70 machine, Scott Eckrich. He's going to come up to the hill, finish in the 2nd spot. There he is, cresting that hill. 2nd for Eckrich. Here comes Evans cresting the hill. He's going to come home in 2nd. Worcester 4th, and Yanish in 5th. Gotta say, man, Will Worcester had all that pressure out back from Steve Yanish. Lap after lap after lap, did not break under the pressure. Great run for him to the end of the race. Yanish Great run for him to come home in 5th. Here comes Brian Yazik, 6th, right in front of the 7th place of Adam Jersky. Tyler Seville back behind them, going to come home in 8th. Then you have to go a ways back to AJ Digby, who is running in 9th. He's going to come up the hill and pick up the 9th spot. Drew Carroll back behind him in 10th. Woody Mahan, Grant Brown, and Michael Krobach, the last 3 drivers on the lead lap here in the Joy of Driving 75. They will all get themselves a lead lap finish. But wow, what a night. It was definitely an endurance race. That is for sure here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series here on 3Y TV. Big shout out to Jordan Harnish and Sam Maxwell for adminning here tonight in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. As you see, John Eckhart, first car 1 lap down, come across the line. Michael Larch in the number 3 machine will be quickly finishing as well. Here he is coming up the hill. Going to finish 15th, right behind John Eckhart on the leaderboard. Here comes Grant Brown in the Joy of Driving machine. He's going to come across the line. And Michael Krobach will be the very last car to see the checkered flag cresting the hill right now in the thumbs up, cancer down Ford Mustang. Well, folks, let's see if we can see whether or not the number 63 of Johnny Avila is going to do any burnouts for us here on 3Y TV. Nikki Warser in the chat saying, great broadcast, guys. Nikki, we appreciate it for sure. Really appreciate you on 3Y TV. As Avila, sure enough, burns it down here for the fans at Elkhart Lake. Getting a little bit of grass on the tires, burning it down. Is that in Canada Corner? I think it is. I think that's turn number 12. Of course, there is a beach down there. We saw a couple of drivers in that beach at some point here tonight. But at least for now, it looks like that's where Johnny Avila will end his night. Johnny Avila taking home the win. Scott Eckrich going to come home in 2nd here on 3Y TV. Greg Evans going to come home with a very solid and respectable 3rd place on the podium. Will Wurzler in 4th. Steve Yenish in 5th. Brian Yazik 6th. Adam Jersky 7th. Tyler Seville about 2 seconds back behind Jersky. Then AJ Digby 17 seconds behind Tyler Seville. 2 seconds behind Digby. Drew Carroll rounding out your top 10. Woody Mahan, Grant Brown, Michael Krobach, your last 3 finishers on the last lap, on the lead lap, I should say, as I had mentioned previously. Then John Eckhart and Michael Larch, 14th and 15th, both 1 lap down. Richard Flesher, 4 laps down. Mark Cohn parked it late after having suspension damage on the number 51, the Pink Panther Izumi Studios Chevrolet. Kevin Stone going to finish in the 18th position. Alan Young, 24th. Mark Myers in 20th. Troy Haight, Thomas George, and Tim Knott, rounding out your 23 starters here tonight. Well, let's see if we can get some of those post-race interviews lined up for you here, folks, starting with driver of the number 2 machine and finishing in 3rd spot here tonight, Greg Evans. Greg, Peter Short, 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
Sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, definitely an endurance race here tonight at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Definitely one of those road courses that's very, very tricky. You got turn number 5, you're braking downhill. You got, turn number 8 where you're also braking downhill. You got turn number 9, the carousel. You got the turn number 10, the kink. You got turn number 12, heavy braking zone off into Canada Corner. You got the blind apexes at turn number 14 and turn number 6. I mean, this is a tough racetrack, and we saw that here tonight for a lot of drivers. Tell us about your night.
Oh, man, we actually had a lot of fun tonight. It took me about half the race to really get settled in. I knew we had a fast car, but I was really overdriving it for a big portion of the race. And once I settled in, I think we were catching the Avila and kind of staying with Eckrich there for a little bit. And I got a little too comfortable and overdrive it through the kink, or just didn't get in there correctly and banged the wall in the last probably 6, 7, 8 laps. I was just trying to hang on to it, but I had a lot of fun tonight. I really enjoy road course racing. It's tough, especially when you have no cautions, but all in all, we had a pretty good night.
Yeah, the one thing that you can't say is that there wasn't any racing out there here tonight. There was definitely a lot of racing. We saw you, of course, get shuffled back a little bit, race your way back up towards the front. You saw, a 4 or 5 car battle at times, and we saw, of course, Will Worsler and Steve Yanish closing in there at the end. There was a lot of storylines here tonight. It was definitely fun for up here in the booth, so good to know that you enjoyed it out there in that number 2 machine. But hey, 2 weeks from now, we go to kind of a more traditional oval, Chicagoland Speedway, for the Twin 125s. What are your thoughts about Chicagoland?
I think we'll have a pretty good run there. Hadn't raced there since last year, but usually we're a pretty good car. We got a pretty good car for there, so we'll just kind of see how it goes. Like I said, we can't complain about tonight, but we gotta kind of take a week off and then we'll start preparing for Chicagoland. So hopefully we have a pretty good run.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be a fun one in twins as well. Both 125-mile sprints. It is going to be a lot of fun here on the channel. But before we let you go, Greg, any shout-outs that you'd like to give out?
Yeah, definitely got to thank Maverick Concepts, iRacing iFlag, Axall PC, Sam Maxwell Customs, Sim Speed Shop, iRacing iFlag, Carolina Sim Works. Thank all those guys and all my guys from Steel Horse Racing.
Absolutely. Well, Greg, gotta say, it wasn't quite the win here tonight, but a really solid drive out of the number 2 machine, and definitely one that you'll probably remember for quite some time. Best of luck in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good 4th, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Absolutely, we will. That was your 3rd place finisher, Greg Evans, here tonight. Let's see if we can catch up with the driver who was running down Johnny Avila for the race win for quite a period of time, but it all unraveled in turn number 1 there, Scott, with about 5 laps to go. But all things considered, turn number 5 on lap number 1, you were put on the back foot. From then on forward, you charged your way up to 2nd. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, unfortunately, it really started before that. In qualifying, we discovered we had a brake issue. Messed up both of our laps. Started in the back. Thought we had it fixed. Found out almost immediately on the first lap that we absolutely did not have it fixed. And I don't say that was a frustrating night for coming away 2nd. And I gotta apologize for Woody for just pile driving him in that 5th corner there on the first lap. But yeah, we were having brake struggles all night. It just it seemed like it would be fine one lap, and the next lap I could only get half of what I had the last time I pushed it down. So I'll have to get back to the shop and figure out what's wrong with those and make sure we get that one resolved before next week.
Well, all things considered, brake problem or not, you definitely were able to adapt to it by the end of the race, finally finding your rhythm, and at times 2 seconds a lap faster than Johnny Avila. Did you think he was leaving a little bit in his back pocket there for later in the race, or did you think I might have a shot at winning this thing?
I figured with how far out I was, it was a long shot to get close, but then I kept getting closer and closer, but I was pushing it really hard to try and make it up as much as I could, so I knew the tire game was not in my favor, and then if he was saving, I knew there was just no way. And then, the right there at the end, I had the brake issue again, and that pretty much just put the nail in the coffin for the night. So,
well, hopefully in 2 weeks' time, you might not have to use the brake pedal as much. Hopefully you don't have to use the brake pedal as much at Chicagoland. But B, hopefully you can get those pedals fixed before Chicagoland, because we got the Twin 125s coming up 2 weeks from tonight. What are your thoughts about Chicagoland?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun track. Typically, it has more than one groove. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. I guess we'll all find out together. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we can do one better than tonight. That'd be nice.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be a fun one at Chicagoland, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely one of those racetracks a lot of drivers like going to 2 weeks from tonight on July 14th. Before we let you go, Scott, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I just like to thank my team over, Mark, and my teammates for helping us out every week here. And then once again, just like to apologize for Woody for just completely destroying him there on lap 1. But Yeah, and then just you guys up in the booth for putting on a good show every week for us.
Absolutely. Well, Scott, we really appreciate your time, and congratulations on the runner-up finish here, and we'll see you again at Chicagoland. All right, folks, that's going to do it for our second place finisher here tonight. Let's see if we can dial up the man of the hour, Johnny Avila, in the number 63 machine, picking up his second road course win of the season. And remember, he got the pole last week at Pocono Raceway as well. So, Johnny, you're really starting to find some pace here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. Started on the pole, led basically every lap here tonight. Yeah, there was a little bit of argy-bargy on lap number 1. But after that, you set sail. Tell us about your night.
I got to give it to Will. He helped me figure out my braking points and set up practices. So I wouldn't have gone this speed without him. So I feel really bad that in turn 2, I locked up my tires and knocked him out because the guy that helped me is the guy that I bumped.
Yeah, that's probably not the best feeling in the world, but you're able to kind of get that in the back of your mind. You lost the lead at that point, but you were able to get the lead back a couple laps later with a little bit fortuitous luck with some other drivers kind of making some mistakes. And we didn't really see any mistakes out of the number 63 machine, at least not on the camera. So you don't have to own up to them because they weren't on the camera if you did make any mistakes. But, tell us about how important it was just kind of hitting your marks lap after lap. And what was going through your mind when you had Scott Eckridge bearing down on you there in the final 10 laps or so?
I just sort of took all my braking points and backed them up a bit because this track is so tough in these cars. Like, there's a reason why people were going off. It's one of the hardest tracks I've driven with these stock cars. And when I saw Scott coming down on me, that whole run when I came out of the pits, I saw I had like a 10-second lead. So I'm like, I'm going to try to save my tires and make them catch me. Hopefully they burn up their stuff and I still have something so I can fight them off.
Well, I was going through my mind and wondering whether or not you were just kind of saving a little bit there towards the end of the race. And that kind of answered that question. But definitely a masterful drive out of the number 63 machine here tonight. And of course, 2 weeks from tonight, we got the twin events at Chicagoland Motor Speedway. We have to ask every driver what they're thinking about that 84-lap event at Chicago, or 2 84-lap events at Chicagoland 2 weeks from tonight.
It'll be interesting. It'll mix things up. If you have one bad race, at least you got another one to sort of back it up. I love Chicagoland personally, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Definitely one racetrack, at least in my books, that is a favorite amongst many drivers, at least on the oval side of things. So it should be one heck of a show here 2 weeks from tonight. Before I let you go, Johnny, any shout-outs you'd like to give?
I just want to shout everybody that's putting this together. It was a lot of stuff had to get done. I'm glad that it's running smoothly. You guys up in the booth, and Will for helping me get this win.
Absolutely. Well, gotta say congratulations on the win here tonight. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time, but until then, stay safe and best of luck.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for your post-race interviews. Johnny Avila taking home his second win of the season here tonight to back up his road course win in the whole sheet metal 150 at Sonoma a couple weeks ago on June 2nd. So 2 wins in the month of June for Johnny Avila. Had a pole to his name in the month of June as well. He is one hot driver here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. Well, folks, I think that's just about going to do it for us here tonight on 3YT. Big shout out to our friends over at Sim TV, as well as everyone else who makes the Sim Racers Club possible. Sam Maxwell, and of course, the former driver of the number 27 machine, who is no longer driving. But of course, you got to say that Jordan Harnish is doing all he can to make this league as good and as awesome as it can be. So big shout out to both of them here. And if you're interested in joining Sim Racers Club Premier Series, we'll make sure you check them out. There is a Discord to their group. A great group of people. And yeah, that's about it for us here on 3 White TV. Thanks to everyone in the chat for hanging out. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers here, as I think we're now down to just 77 till we meet that magic 4-digit number. Have a great 4th of July. We won't be here next Wednesday night. Stay safe, and we shall see ya.